Hey guys, you thought the win against Chelsea in the Champions League was the big news of this week. You were wrong. The big news is our Titis, who qualified for the semi-finals of the Youth League for the first time in 10 years. After a win 1-0 in Villarreal, our youngsters managed to qualify for the next round, and there is a lot to talk about. So let's talk about that today. 1-0 in Villarreal. It was high noon for Titis. They went into this game absolutely not favorites for it, and yet they managed to pull the upside and the upset and managed to get the win against Villarreal. Villarreal, to give you a sense, they had finished fifth in the group stage. It's a similar format like the group stage phases in the Champions League. So I want to say like 32 teams or something. So Villarreal had finished fifth. PSG, we had finished 13th. So that kind of gives you a sense of where we're at. We were also playing in Villarreal and not in Paris. And we were without two of our key players in midfield. Jangeal, to start with, who's obviously is featured with the pro squad this season. He's had a lot of playing time. He's been one of our regulars within the U19. It's a little disappointing that he hasn't made himself a little bit of a regular spot into the pro squad, but with the U19, he's been a really important part of the squad as an offensive midfielder, sometimes into midfield, sometimes a little bit further up on the pitch. But for this game, he was actually taken out of the squad by the coach after apparently an incident in the team bus. There's not a lot of detail, but it was a disciplinary sanction from the coach. And so we decided to just do without him, which is really, it's bold, but at the same time, it's a great reflection of the fact that this is a youth team. And, we're here to develop those players. We're here to take them to the pro level. And the coaches just cannot accept if they don't have the right attitude, if they get themselves out of the team environment and do things that aren't accepted within the group. Well, then so be it. They make their choice. And I remember at the highest level, Dembele last season for the group stage of the Champions League in Arsenal, Luis Enrique sitting him out because also he had done things that apparently were against the rules of the squad. It's a collective environment. The players have to learn, and ultimately, no one is bigger than the team. And so it's great to see that this exists at the top level with Luis Enrique. Is really maintaining that discipline. But it filters on down, and our youngsters, they also have the same kind of framework that they need to follow. And even a player who's at his level, something like of a superstar, well, you follow the rule or you're out. And so Jangeal, for this game, we sat him out and he didn't participate. The second one that we did without as well is Assab, who's been also I think with Adam Ayari, who I did a video on, and I really encourage you to go check it out if you haven't yet. Assab has been one of the two players who've been really carrying our U19 this season. As a defensive midfielder, he's been that really balancing player who does a lot defensively, but also help transition the game offensively. Very technical, very skilled. And he was missing this game, I think, on injury, but missing out on this game. And so in midfield, ultimately, if I compare to the last round of the competition, we had three players who had started in the last rounds who were missing out of five. So our midfield was really, really stretched a little bit and pushed to not to its limit, because ultimately we won, but we had a lot of usual substitutes who were playing in this game against Villarreal. And ultimately, I want to we get the win, but let's be honest. I think Villarreal dominated this game. They created a lot more chance. We managed to get ahead in the score line on the 26th minute, I think, if I remember right. And by a goal from our left winger, Elijah Lee, who manages to score after a great collective move, a little bit of a counter-attack. And yeah, we managed to get the goal ahead on the 26th minute. At this point, the game is somewhat balanced, I've got to say, in the first half. Maybe a little bit more in terms of momentum going PSG's way, but really, really balanced. But still, I think, as often is the case with PSG teams, whether it's U19 or seniors, we have possession, but we're not necessarily creating the biggest chances. And, Villarreal is really managing to do the most of when they have the ball, and really, pushing us back. And even in the first half, after we score the goal, they managed to hit the post on, I think slightly missed clearance from our goalkeeper, Martin James. And then in the second half, they have a penalty that our goalkeeper saves. They hit the bar on the 80th minute. They've got, I think, at the end of the game, 5 big chances that they failed to convert. So PSG gets the win, but we get the win by being really solid and a little bit lucky defensively. Our goalkeeper, Martin James, has an amazing game. I'm really amazing game. Like I said, he saves the penalty and he really saves it. It's actually not badly taken. It's taken by a Villarreal player who scored 3 goals so far in this competition. So it's not nothing. And it's really going not far from the post, except our keeper anticipates well, gets a little bit of an early start, and manages to stretch all the way to get it next to the post. So that's brilliant save. And even before that, he has a number of really critical saves where he really helps us help keep our lead or 1 goal advantage that ultimately we manage to keep. Villarreal, they end up with 5 shots on target. Like I said, they hit the woodwork twice. So they do produce a lot offensively, and our goalkeepers is producing that man of the match performance that really keeps us in the game and gives us the win. Other players that does really well, and we've talked about him in the past, is David Boly, our youngster right back, who's been touted for a while as really this wonder kid at right back, very, very high potential. He's been on and off with injuries this season, so he's been called up with the pros once, but didn't really have a chance to make the most of it. In this game, he turns in a pretty great performance. There's actually a video of highlights that's going around on Twitter, so definitely check it out if you see it. But in terms of how much this player is developed physically, he's like a cheat code. Honestly, he's like a cheat code. He looks like a pro playing with U16. It's insane. And in this game, more than a few times, he makes runs which are really cutting and really takes the pressure away from PSG and allow us to move off of defense and towards offensive position, and really creates problem from Villarreal because they don't know how to get the ball away from him. He's too good at keeping the ball. He's too fast when he's running, and he's just skilled technically as well. So it's impossible to get the ball off of him. And the goal we scored, it initiates with David Boly running out of his right flank, curving back towards the middle of the pitch, passing it to Mounguengue or number 9 in the middle, who holds the ball a little bit, then passes it off to the left. The Elijah Lee takes it, feints, cuts back inside, shoots, and goal. And it's really it's a beautiful piece of collective football, but it really initiates with a very cutting run from David Boly, and he does that a few times in this game. And even defensively as well, the physical impact that he brings means like it's actually like it's funny sometimes because he positions himself back in the middle, almost as a central defender. And when Villarreal thinks like they're in an offensive position and they're dominant, David Boly comes in the middle, goes like, no, 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 no. You don't go anywhere. Give me this ball. I'll take it off of you, and like you cannot do anything about it. So very dominant, and I think for a right back, it's actually very like the comparison has been made and made and made again, so it's not new, but like it's very reminiscent of Hakimi. The way in which he manages to project further up on the pitch and cut back towards the inside, not just stick to the side and to the touchline, with a lot of physicality, with the ability to do a lot of high intensity running. Yeah, what a player. And he has a top-notch performance. He's actually substituted like relatively easy early in the game. I think he comes off with 15 minutes to go, so not that early, but yeah, he's still like substituted off, which I think like is probably still not at his absolute best physically. I think personally, like it's a player that I really would like to see with the pros between now and the end of the season, because we need to get a sense of where is he at if he were playing against like real like Ligue 1 opposition. And so, if I think of, for example, like the game against Nantes that we're gonna have to play like towards the end of April, after taking our quarterfinal of the Champions League, after facing Lens, after facing Lyon, that might be a game where we can rotate a little bit and David Boly can get some minutes. Even after that, there's a couple of like quote-unquote easier Ligue 1 games. Obviously, we're going to have to get all of the points to get the title, but still, like there are games which could be opportunities for him. And I really hope, Luis Enrique manages to carve some playing times for him, so we can see how he ranks versus tougher opposition. So anyway, like on this youth league game, this is kind of what I had for you guys. In the next round, we're going to be facing Real Madrid. It's going to be on neutral ground in Switzerland on the 18th of April. So right after we play the return against Liverpool. That same week, I think the youth league game is on the Friday. So I think we're playing in Liverpool on the Tuesday, and we're going to be playing like I think Thursday or Friday in the youth league. And then if we qualify, the final is that same weekend, I think, in Switzerland as well. The other semi-final is Benfica versus Club Brugge. And if you remember earlier in the video, I had told you that Villarreal finished 5th in the group stage. Well, Benfica finished 2nd, Club Brugge finished 3rd, and Real Madrid finished 4th. So we're literally facing all of the teams that were even better in the group phase, who are at this level, very much among the favorites, very well known for their youth setup and academies. Teams who are used to playing at this level, even in the youth league. And so, yeah, for us, it's the first time in 10 years that we make it to that level. Last time in 2016, we managed to make it to the final, where we were actually, it was the generation of Christopher Nkunku, which was a great generation of PSG youth talent. And we made it to the final. We lost then against Chelsea 2-1. And so we can only hope that this youth team manages to also qualify for the final and maybe try to lift that trophy. It's one that, honestly, as a PSG fan, I would love to see our youngsters win it. And I think it's interesting because this youth and U19 squad, I think they started their season a little bit slow. If you remember, I remember doing a youth update in one of the first international breaks this season, and we were dragging in the league, and we were like on and off in the youth league. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't really clicking yet, and I think they've really found their stride, and they do have a bunch of players, like 4 or 5 players, who are showing some real promise. And I think, we've talked about Boly, we've talked about Ayari, but a player like Mounguengue on number 9, a player like Assab on defensive midfielder, even a player like Martin James or goalkeeper, even Koulibaly in defense. There's really like 4, 5, 6 maybe players who I think have very, very promising pro careers ahead of them. It's always hard to say for sure at this level, but it certainly looks like this way right now. And so I think it'd be great for those guys if they manage to take it all the way and win some silverwares in the league, in the Gambardella, which is the equivalent of the French Cup for youth teams. And then the youth league is the Champions League. So winning it would be an incredible achievement early on in their careers for those boys. So anyway, next round, like I said, it's gonna be in the, what did they say, 18th of 18th of April against Real Madrid. It's gonna be a big game. We'll be talking about this for sure because it's big news. And you know, I think, like I said, like the pros winning against Chelsea was certainly the one that made headlines. But this youth team and the way it was winning against Villarreal was certainly like the more impressive wins out of the two, if I'm honest. So anyway, let me know what you think of this. What do you make of this youth uprising? How would you rank a win in the youth league? Is it something, obviously, like, you know, we all prefer to see the pros win the Champions League. We all prefer the pros to win Ligue 1. But winning the youth league, I really do think it's something special. So where would you rank this? And, you know, out of the youth players, we've seen a few of them in the pros. Some of them are really knocking on the door. Who is the next one that you'd be keen to see? Let me know all of this in the comment. And as always, if you've made it this far, please drop a like on this video. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Hit the bells to get notified of future videos. And don't forget, youth or senior or whatever category it might be, ici c'est Paris!